So we spoke yesterday about the ridiculously stacked lineup for the Black Sabbath farewell event. I'll put a link to that video down below if you want to check it out. But obviously that news sparked tons of headlines, reactions from the various people involved, interviews. One of the big questions, though, is will Ozzy actually be able to perform? Because, of course, he has very publicly been struggling with his health for quite some time now. He was, of course, diagnosed with Parkinson's. He had to cancel his performance at the Power Trip Festival back in 2023. We talked yesterday about his Rock Hall induction last fall, where he was unable to perform and he had to sit on that throne the entire time that he was giving his induction speech. Very, very sad. So with the announcement of Black Sabbath's Back to the Beginning event, you know, I think really a big question was what changed or what is expected to change regarding Ozzy's health. I pointed out yesterday too that Eddie Trunk suggested that maybe the lineup was so stacked in the event that Ozzy can't do it, there's still enough of a show for it to still take place, because obviously when you got Metallica and Slayer and Pantera and whoever else, I mean, with or without Black Sabbath, that's still a massive, massive show. But you know, anyways, following yesterday's announcement, we got some updates on Ozzy's health. Still doesn't really answer the question of how he's going to pull this off, but I guess earlier this week on his radio show on SiriusXM, he was discussing the fact that he can no longer walk, but he is thankful that he is still alive. Here's what he said. I have made it to 2025. I can't walk, but you know what I was thinking over the holidays? For all my complaining, I'm still alive. I may be moaning that I can't walk, but I look down the road and there's people that didn't do half as much as me and didn't make it. Beyond that, Sharon Osbourne did a couple of interviews discussing Ozzy's health as well as the Sabbath event, where when speaking with The Sun, she mentions the toll that Parkinson's has unfortunately taken on Ozzy, where she said, he's very happy to be coming back and very emotional about this. Parkinson's is a progressive disease. It's not something you can stabilize. It affects different parts of the body and it's affected his legs, but his voice is as good as it's ever been. Sharon also spoke with BBC News, where she acknowledged the fact that this Sabbath event will in fact be the final performance of Ozzy's legendary career, by saying, he's doing great. He's doing really great. He's so excited about this, about being with the guys again and all his friends. It's exciting for everyone. Ozzy didn't have a chance to say goodbye to his friends, to his fans, and he feels there's been no full stop. This is his full stop. So again, obviously very, very sad news that he can no longer walk, and I am still pretty curious about how he's going to be able to pull this performance off. I mean, I'd have to imagine he'll be sitting for the entire thing, which nothing wrong with that. I mean, health aside, he is nearly 80 years old, and not everyone can be Mick Jagger. But I was thinking, too, maybe he could also have one of those things behind him. I'm not sure what they're called, but it's those things that whenever bands use like cherry pickers to go from the stage out into the crowd, or they have one of those platforms that rise up into the air. It's kind of there in case they fall. He actually had one. I'll put some footage up on the screen now when he performed at the Rams season opener back in 2022, when he came up from under the floor and then he exited the same way. But that said, though, I mean, who really gives a shit how he does it, right? As long as he can make it and do it however he needs to do it that works for him, that's really all that matters. I mean, it really would be great to just have one final Ozzy performance. One of the other things about the event that we spent some time discussing yesterday is that quite a few of Ozzy's former bandmates will be appearing. Rudy Sarzo, Jakey Lee, Mike Borden, Zakk Wylde. And obviously there has been a lot of tension over the years between Ozzy and some of his ex-bandmates. I mean, just look at the history between Ozzy and Jakey Lee, just as one example. I mean, a lot of royalty disputes, people not getting their deserved credit. You know, sometimes it could feel like history was just trying to be rewritten by Sharon and others. So, you know, all sorts of drama always. But one of Ozzy's former bandmates that is a major victim of all of that is Bob Daisley, who will not be in attendance at the event this summer. Bob Daisley, of course, Ozzy's former bassist, who wrote a ton of songs, a major, major contributor to Ozzy's success, especially in the early days. And now he has done an interview with IndiePower TV. This just came out, I mean, like earlier today. I mean, super quick after this Black Sabbath thing was announced, where he addressed the fact that he was not invited to be a part of that event. Here's what he said. To be honest with you, I don't think I'd want to be a part of that day. It'll be awkward, but it could turn out as an embarrassment as well, but we'll see. We'll see. I wouldn't say that Bob exactly sounds surprised that he was not invited, which I don't know. I mean, it makes sense given the history between him and Ozzy, but in that same interview, he also discussed the fact that he was not mentioned during Ozzy's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction speech last fall. Obviously, Bob Daisley was not the only one that Ozzy did not mention. There were plenty of former Ozzy band members that Ozzy did not mention during his speech. But anyways, here's what Bob told IndiePower TV. I didn't expect it. I knew that was coming because there's been some dirty water gone under the bridge between us. There's been lawsuits and legal issues and that, so I was not surprised when I didn't get a mention. Many people thought that it was wrong and that I should have got a mention, but I really didn't expect it, so I wasn't surprised. So nothing really overly shocking there. I did think it was worth mentioning that Bob Daisley did address all of this, but Black Sabbath's Back to the Beginning event is set to take place on July 5th at Villa Park in Sabbath's native Birmingham. Tickets go on sale February 14th. I am really hoping that this event will be streamed in some capacity, whether it's a live stream or you know, professionally filmed and released later on. Sharon did say in one of those interviews that she feels this needs to be documented as it is such a historic event, which, I mean, you can't really argue that. It absolutely is. And if I understand the article correctly, a documentary is actually in the works about all of this. So it will be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. And rest assured, I am positive that no dollar will be left on the table, I am sure. But for now, that's all I got for you. Thanks so much for hanging out. Feel free to drop a like and subscribe below if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time.